Okay, I am in ALNY here. Kind of formed a bull flag, and it's like just now starting to break out here. Only 30 shares because my stop loss is going to be at 102. So I mean, obviously this thing's pretty big mover. Got a 40-cent spread here, but I like the pattern. I like the way that it was acting. And we just had a oh, well, that's kind of weird. Okay, well, a couple of minutes ago there was a huge print here for like 500,000 shares, and now it's gone. So I don't really know what happened with that, but I guess it didn't exist or something. Either way, I am in the trade looking for the breakout. There's really, because it's easier to look at it this way, there's really nothing in the way as of resistance until we get to like 109. You can see the trend line here as well has got 109. So as for profit targets, really I'm just looking for a good spot to exit. Stop loss will be below this candle here at 102.14. So I got in at 70. So I'm risking about $1.56. See on the ones here. Got the moving averages support now. You know, I thought this thing was going to be bouncing today because you can see it opened right in here, and we had this fib level as well as the support line or the resistance line here, but I mean, it's just been plowing right through everything, and now it's got this whole stuff that it's made up, and I mean, it's already moved 5-6 points. It could probably move 5-6 points again up to this trend line. So I mean, could be holding on to it for a while here, but it's definitely got the potential. I think the only thing that I don't like about this trade is that it's so far from the VWAP. I really wanted to see it come back a little bit further than this, but at the same time, you know, holding this whole number is still a good thing. You know, makes a case for the trade. Alright, gonna change my stop loss to a close below this candle. one point it was a rising wedge, and it did have that pullback here. That's not what I wanted. Kind of something here. What the heck? That's the thing don't like about Lightspeed is you can't adjust where you want it. You can only change where it's moving. Yeah, kind of a rising wedge there, and pulled back a little bit, and then the 20 caught up with it, and now it's acting as pretty good support. Actually, I think this is probably a better point for a stop loss, is a close below this 20 here. See, it's been holding it this whole time, so definitely if it closes below it, it's not really in effect anymore. I got a new 5-minute. Don't like how it's a doji here. So we got 103, 103.30 is something that I need to worry about. I mean, on the 5s, the moving averages are still pretty far away. If we see a break of 40 here, the high of day, might see another big move up. Yeah, you see the stock still acts pretty bullish here as these moving averages catch up. So if I'm in this trade long enough to see this, the 50 catch up here, could really be some nice support. Yeah, I think it was on this candle here is where that 500,000 print came in. Still bothers me how that's gone, because that was one of the big reasons why I joined this trade. Okay, could see something here in the next second. Nice move. See, the 5's got a nice candle forming now, but it's just that doji. That one's making me not like it as much anymore. We're about halfway to the next candle. 15s are decent. Probably could have used a bigger size now that I look at this, because earlier I was saying a break under this candle could be my stop loss, but I wasn't even thinking about these moving averages. These moving averages are a much better spot to let me use bigger size as well as tighten my risk. But you know, at the same time, with the stock moving this much, as big as it is, I just don't. I think I wanted to look at the worst case scenario instead of the best case, because I always want to do risk first. See, there's really nothing. I mean, maybe this upper 105 might be a spot. You know, any whole number is obviously going to be a spot as well. Got almost 109 up there. I am going to try something that my mentor taught me. So, that's where I was looking at it at. So this gives me a good profit target. As soon as I can move it. There we go.
JAVL.
Yeah, still 109. I mean, basically you're just looking at the retracements to kind of, this is like the extension one. So again, we got the 50 up here, and it looks like this 105 is going to be the 38. So I mean, if people are looking at this the same way I am, this could be something coming up here. Could be a spot of resistance. Same with that. Okay, I definitely want to take half around upper 150. Alright, this trade should not turn into a loss now. Volume still looks good. I just noticed, oh, it's because I'm on the fives. Yeah, look at this 105 is going to be a spot up here. I'd really like to see this candle green. but that's pretty tight. Hasn't moved too much in the past 5 minutes. Might be making a move here. Very nice. 60 more cents. I want to start looking to take. Jeez, you might get it. I broke out of the 38, and then we got 90 as the 50 mark. Nice breakout on volume too. This could be pretty good here. I got a 5 and it's still a doji. Just green doji now. Retesting the whole number. Alright, changing my stop loss, changing it to the red, switching it to the 9. Need to do a pattern readjustment here. Make sure something I'm not seeing isn't happening. Kind of forming a new wedge here. We'll have to see what it does here in the next couple seconds. Yeah, looks like it's making a move. Taking it, I don't like it. Just gonna walk away with my 36 bucks. Oh, wow. Looks like I made the right call. It could bounce, obviously. Get out. Yeah, looks like it's gonna move up. Oh well, I'll revisit it later. Do a recap on it. Okay, I am going to be done for the day. Ending it a little bit early, but just how I'm feeling right now, not really seeing anything else. So, I wanted to go over this ALNY trade. First, I want to say what I saw. During the open, it was on my watch list. I did not expect it to rise the way it did. You can see I drew a fib line on it here. So I can make this a little nicer looking. Trib line, top, bottom. It pretty much opened right next to this 618 here. And one of the things that I was taught is that on a on any pullback or retracement from the fib, if it breaks this 618, it is no longer in a downtrend or an uptrend, but in this case it is a downtrend since obviously it's down. So kind of expected it to bounce off of this a little bit, didn't at all, as well as there's another resistance point right here from the top of this wick, and really that was it. I had support, you know, obviously all the moving averages. Resistance was at 98, and then 100 just because it's 100, you know, it's a big deal, big number. And then 98.51 was the fib level, and then I had 109 just because of the recent trend line here, and that was it. That was all that there really was in terms of resistance. So then going back to the trade itself, you can see it kind of bounced off of this 100 here, but I mean it broke through the fibs, and that 98, no big deal. Why is this taking so long? Gapped up, opened up right below 98, blew through it. 98 wasn't even a significant level for the rest of the day. I mean, see, it's kind of getting closer and closer to VWAP, and then it just slowly starts moving away from it here. And then right at 100, see it pulled back a little bit, but again blew right through it. So I figured this stock was going to be pretty bullish then on the day. So then I was looking at it around here. I saw it was kind of forming a wedge, but at the same time it's also forming a flag. And so I wanted to play it either way, and I still liked it for a long as opposed to a short here, because the moving averages were still catching up here. The 20 was acting as support, as well as the VWAP. I know I don't want to be shorting above the VWAP. You want to be shorting below the VWAP, and usually I use that for VWAP bounce plays. But this, obviously, I was looking at this for a bounce as well earlier in the day, but never got close. Ended up just seeing the flag here on the 5s. You can see the slight pullback, and then I ended up getting in, I believe, pretty much at the perfect time, because I caught this candle here as I saw, I don't know what happened, it must have been a Lightspeed error or something, but I was looking over at my 5-minute chart. I have it sitting over here. I got the 5 as well as the 15 right to my monitor to the left of me, and I saw this huge spike in volume. It was like a 500,000 share size or something. And so I was like, okay, that's a good sign. Let's get in on this for the long, because you can see the moving average is catching up. Definitely looked like a really good long. Broke out, pulled back a little bit, kind of retesting the area and everything, and it was just a really slow grind up. It wasn't really a good breakout because it was just so slow, and then the very next 5-minute candle was a doji, and then we had another nice move, and then just until recently it's just been nothing but 4 dojis in a row, so it wasn't really super clean. So whenever I started noticing that, I said, okay, I need to do a pattern readjustment, like just redraw the lines. And I saw that it was forming another wedge, and as soon as I saw that it was forming another wedge, it wasn't this candle, I believe it was this candle here, I think right here, and I sold. I clicked the button, and then as soon as I sold, had that big drop down, because originally I wanted my stop loss to be the break of this 20 SMA, but I saw that wedge forming, said it's moving too slow now, no real significant moves or nothing, so I'm just going to get out. Click the button, locked in $36. Then until recently, just now, it looks like it's breaking out again, but it did close below the 20, so I guess I saved myself a couple of cents if I stuck to my rules, obviously. But 15s, kind of got that doji forming. Wasn't a bad trade. I definitely should have rethought about where I want to put my risk in, or what I wanted to base it off of, because I based it off of this level here, and that's an old habit of mine. is whenever I'm looking at flags or these kind of breakout situations, I would always go to just the most recent low. And yes, that is a technical level, but there are much better technical levels to base your stop off of. For instance, this 20, since the 20 caught up with what the stock was doing, it hadn't broken it once. So I mean, that clearly would have been a really good spot to place my risk. So I mean, instead of taking 30 shares, I could have said, you know, if it closes below 103, because at the time this is where it was, I could have hopped in here at that 70, you know, I could have taken 50 shares, and this could have been a $100 trade instead of a $36 trade, but at least I'm recognizing it. I was a little disappointed, I guess, because I had, you know, what, 5 stocks here, 6 stocks that I was looking at on my watch list, and none of them really did too much. At least they didn't really do what I thought they were going to do. General Mills today was all over the place, because on the daily here we had, well, it looks much better on this, but had a ton of support down here with this major trend line coming in and all of these other significant areas, and I mean, it just blew right through it, and then now it's finally squeezing back up. But I mean, I couldn't really find a trade in this one, because once it made this wedge up in here, I mean, it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, you know. There's this 20 still catching up, and then this 9 started cradling it a little bit, and nothing great about it. So just gonna call it a day where I'm at, up 36. Thanks for watching, and I'll be trading tomorrow.